This is BCTV Election Live, with political analysis and reports from campaign headquarters. Now, live from the BCTV studios, here's anchor Jim Masters.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Election Night Live 2013, coming to you from the BCTV headquarters and television studios here in Branford, Connecticut. My name is Jim Masters. You are in for a very exciting and lively night of election coverage right here, covering Branford and Southern Connecticut. And without further ado, let's welcome my election night team joining us here. To my right is Chris Sullivan. He is the RTM moderator and chairman of the Democratic Town Committee. Good to see you, Chris. And a familiar face during election night, our good friend Frank Toohill is joining us here on Election Set as well. He is the RTM minority leader and also representing the Republican Party. And joining us on the Election Set this evening as well is Jeff Clark, who is representing the Independent Party, and he is board member here of BCTV. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you all.
Good evening, Jim. It's great to be back with you tonight again.
Absolutely. It's going to be, as I said in the open, a very lively and insightful election. There's a lot riding on the line, a lot of different issues. Of course, one of the big issues being whether or not we should develop the town a little bit more, whether there should be some more retail development. That was talked about a lot. What do you think about that topic being crucial tonight?
I think it is a crucial piece. I mean,
Yeah.
there's also a little bit of a dichotomy between the two major candidates, so
Yeah.
I think that's something that the voters are going to be paying attention to.
How about you, Frank?
Well, I think that at this point in Branford's history, and of course we go back to the 1600s, that it is more appropriate. It is appropriate at this time to look for more commercial development. Branford, always has a great things going for it. I mean, we're on the highways, I-95. We have the trains go through for freight. We have a great sewer system, which other towns don't have, and and our taxes are they're not up too high. So we should take advantage of it. It takes the brunt off the homeowner. The homeowner has to pay more as the cost of government goes up, and if you increase the grand list every year, through companies coming in, it's good for the homeowner. So the answer, Jim, yes.
And Jeff, do you have a comment as well?
Let me just make a correction. First of all, I'm not a representative for the Independent Party. We have an Independent Party in Branford. I'm an unaffiliated voter and a volunteer for BCTV.
You got it.
My comment on, and as such, I don't necessarily bring the same views that colleagues on the left do. There are lots of issues that are facing Branford.
Yeah.
Economic development is just one. There are many serious issues, and whoever gets elected tonight is really going to have their hands full.
Yeah.
We're going to be discussing all of that. First, we have one of our reporters, Marcia Chambers, is at the Democratic headquarters of Andrew Campbell, and we're going to go to her live right now.
Good evening. I'm Marcia Chambers, the editor of the Branford Eagle, and tonight I'm serving as a reporter for BCTV. And I have with me tonight Andrew Campbell, who is running for First Selectmen on the Democratic line. And it's about 7:30 or so, and you've been out all day.
I've been out all day.
Right, at various polling places. And tell us what you learned and what people were saying to you.
I was pleased today with the turnout at the polls. It seemed to be steady all day, and the people in Branford seemed to be very invested in voting for their future. And I, regardless of which side they voted on, people were friendly and embracing, which is the way that I've always found Branford to be.
And you met later in the day, I think, with Rosa DeLauro, our Congresswoman. Is that right? And how did that, tell us about that and what she said and how it went.
Congresswoman DeLauro was out at Branford Hills School this afternoon. She showed up at a little after 5. Most propitiously, Jamie was there, Jamie Cosgrove, and J.C. Wyatt was also there. And introductions were had all around, and folks were very glad to see their Congresswoman there supporting democracy, with all of the candidates right there in one place, with a lot of babies around.
And what did she say about you?
She was supportive, and she's looking forward to working with the town of Branford to move it forward, especially now that we've done some things that she's been instrumentally in completing, specifically the Exit 53 bridge.
Did she give you any specifics on that?
She told me to keep working because the polls don't close until 8 o'clock, and with regard to Exit 53, she's looking forward to working with the State Department of Transportation to effectuate the interchange shift so that we can really jumpstart economic development in that area.
This has been your first run for First Selectman, and it's been a long and fascinating one, I guess. What have you learned, and what have you learned about campaigning and about the town, and what would you do differently if you had it to do all over again? That's a two-part question.
I didn't learn that the town of Branford was a very embracing and proud town. I knew that, but it was reaffirmed throughout this election because people consistently bragged about how long they've lived in town, which I take as a key indicator of community pride. If I had to do things differently, I would have put on sunscreen first thing in this morning rather than later on in the day. Next time I endeavor to knock on more doors and speak to more of the voters if that chance comes to me.
Did you feel a good deal of optimism about your campaign today as it comes to a close?
Oh, certainly. I have no doubt that the people of Branford will choose the wise path. We have a wonderful town, a beautiful town that has thrived for 369 years. And I have no doubt that people's optimism in this town, as expressed in their going out to vote today and knocking on doors and people bragging about living in this town, people are very happy to be here, and that portends great things for our future.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
This is Marcia Chambers, who tonight is working for BCTV. Thank you.
And that was Marcia Chambers in the Democratic headquarters with Andrew Campbell. We're also going to have updated reports from Sally Bonner, and she is at the Republican headquarters with Jamie Cosgrove, as well as Jade Yee, who is at the Independent headquarters with J.C. Wyatt. Exit 53 has always been sort of a bone of contention, has been always talked about, and obviously we've seen the development of the bridge. And do you think that's now going to lead to economic development in that area? Is that sort of the stepping stone, the completion of that bridge?
I think it's a big piece that helps there. I mean, it will alleviate some of the traffic concerns there, which is the pretzel. So I think it will ease access to getting to that area, and there's certainly available space there for development. So it could move things forward there.
Right.
Jim, there's a big plan really to work on Exit 53 in the future. First of all, up there was the old J.M. Fields. That was one of the biggest department stores in all of New England when it was built. Currently, it's just a huge parking lot that's all fenced up. That would make an excellent place for any type of a big box store. I mean, it's out of the way. It would add jobs and increase the tax base here in Branford, which I think everybody wants. But the problem is there's a lot of work to do up there, Jim. I mean, currently, as you know, Exit 53, there's only an on-ramp going towards New Haven, and there's only the one off-ramp. So, you'd have to do a lot of more work up there. But to get that bridge built, the widening of the railroad bridge, that was a big step forward. And I'm sure in the future we're going to see, construction up there
Happening in that area.
which will be good for the town.
Well, I attended the grand opening of J.M. Fields, and that was the last time, that was the last time that parking lot was ever full. The first week that J.M. Fields opened, people in town would look back on it, and there were streetlights. The parking lot went all the way down to the pretzel, in the car. It was full. It was just unbelievable. That was the first discount house east of New Haven at the time, and it was an enormous draw. Development around Exit 53 has essentially been on hold while this bridge was under construction. Stop and Shop got approvals, or started to get approvals for this southerly parcel below the Pretzel, and that basically, I think, we're sort of mandated to stop until the traffic situation was resolved. It won't really be resolved until the interchange is altered, and I'm not sure if I'll be alive to see that happen. Without the interchange being altered significantly, large retailers have avoided that property, and so that's a significant hurdle to overcome. It will require another large chunk of money, probably not from the town, but from the state and federal government, and it may be a long time coming.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that, right, as people come into Branford, maybe for the first time off Exit 53 right there, and they stop where the railroad bridge has now been widened.
Yeah.
I mean, for how many years that whole intersection, the Pretzel, there's weeds growing through all the cracks in the concrete. If you look across where Jeff just mentioned, where the Stop and Shop could be built someday, it's all weeds. I mean, it's a horrible eyesore, that whole area. I believe that it should be, dressed up, cleaned up. It's horrible when you come into town,
It's an important part of the town when you're first pulling in from,
Exactly.
I-95. We're going to go to a report with Sally Bonner, is at Republican headquarters right now with Bill Anaskovich. Let's go to Sally right now.
This is Sally Bonner reporting for BCTV from Republican headquarters, where we're expecting the results of the First Selectmen's race between Jamie Cosgrove, Andy Campbell, and J.C. Wyatt. The Cosgrove name is incredibly well known in Branford, going back more than 40 years. And Jamie is looking to carry on some of the legacy of his grandfather. It's a new blood, a new era, and the people in this race, it's really interesting because they're all 40-somethings. So the new generation is coming to power in Branford, if you can use the word power. This is Bill Anaskovich. He's a former state legislator. And Bill, tell me what your role has been in this campaign.
Well, I've been one of many workers who have supported Jamie and helped him develop a campaign that was able to bring a positive message of change to Branford. This has really been a campaign of dozens of people who have come forward, some old hands at politics, some new and energetic folks, and it's been fun to work together with so many people.
Do you have any additional political aspirations going forward?
I want to get back to my family and my job, and I want my life to have some semblance of order again. Right now, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
That's good to know. Thank you very much. This is Sally Bonner reporting for BCTV.
And at Republican headquarters, that was our reporter, Sally Bonner, with Bill Anaskovich. We're now going to toss you right over to Jade Yee, who's working for our team this evening. She's at Independent Branford Voters headquarters with the Independent Branford Voters candidate, J.C. Wyatt. Jade Yee?
Hi, I'm Jade Yee, here at the Independent headquarters with J.C. Wyatt, the Independent candidate. So, J.C., how are you feeling about today?
Hi, Jade. Thank you for coming. Actually, it looks really positive. There is a lot of people out there that are ready for a three-party system. More shocking. I didn't know exactly what to see, but by actually being at all the polling today, we really do have a possible shot at this. I think it's really positive that this town is ready for a three-party system, and I'm glad to be one of the leaders to bring this here to Branford.
Great, great. So what did you see out there today in specifics? Anything that really brought your hopes up? Anything that really surprised you?
I think one of the shocking more is, I think like what you think what's going to happen in your mind is just completely thrown away, because we really don't know what the people are going to do out there today. And the positive people that I've talked to, it's just amazing to see the positive that came back to me. And I'm just thank you for all that.
That's fantastic. So what are your expectations for the evening? What are you hoping to happen?
What do I think is going to happen? First of all, I want to enjoy an incredible time with my family, the other candidates that are running here in Independent, my family that has helped me, my treasurer, my cousin, my mom, and the whole family that has been on me and with me through the whole campaign. This is all for them, too. I mean, this has been a real fun journey. I think this is going to be something I'm doing for the next 2 years, every 2 years, as part of the new system of who I am. I definitely think we're going to be part of the system here in Branford. And I think the next thing, too, is really important is that we look at all the people out there that have not only just signed the signatures to get me on the ballot, the process, and the great people who have come out to meetings, the emails, and a lot of people even today that just couldn't wait to give me the thumbs up. That's the kind of thing that I really feel right now. I'm doing this all for them, too. I mean, this is really, really great. And I really enjoy that I might be one of your first selectmen here in Branford, or one second or third. I think it's time for the town of Branford to let an independent woman back into town hall or even on the Board of Selectmen, and I today think we just did it. So.
That's great. And you're running for the Board of Ed, too. What are your expectations for that?
Great story. Yes, I am running for the Board of Ed. Totally one of the things I know I'm running for, and we realized that we're putting me on multiple spots on the ballot. And when I realized with the Board of Ed, again, I have my passion for education and why I want to be involved in there with the buildings and the process that we're going to come down the road with, that somebody in architecture and building should be on the Board of Ed, and even if you're a first selectman, should be part of it, because it's going to be something we're going to deal with down the road. Somebody today who is a pure Democrat, 100% Democrat, came to tell me that how proud they are that I'm on the ticket, how amazing that I'm standing here taking this and doing this. They're just glad that I'm on the ballot. But he said he has to vote Democrat because that's the way he has all his life. But I voted you for the Board of Education because that's where I want to see you. That today showed me we weren't thinking that. And that's awesome to see that actually the Board of Ed might be also something that you might see me on.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Thank you, JC, for this interview.
Thank you very much.
I hope the best of luck to you all.
Independent, and I'm glad you did.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
This is Jade Yee with JC Wide at the Independent headquarters. Back to BCTV.
And thank you to our reporter Jade Yee at Independent headquarters here in Branford with J.C. Wyatt. We'll have reports from all of the candidates' headquarters throughout the evening as well, and live updates. We're hearing that Governor Christie in New Jersey is pretty much the winner of that election as well. Of course, there's the New Haven mayor's race. There's a lot going on. I am Jim Masters. Welcome back to the BCTV studios live. You can find me on Connecticut Public Television, also WNET Channel 13 in New York City, WLIW Channel 21. I also host Connecticut Perspective TV on WTNH Channel 8, and also host Close Up Talk Radio, Close Up TV News. And for 18 years, I was on WELI in New Haven, hosting the Home Shopper Show, which many of you participated in.
Yes, in fact, Jim,
as you did too, Frank.
I bought this from the Home Shopper Show.
You bought everything from that show when we did that.
And also the watch.
We're seeing
great stuff.
We're seeing a whole crop of new candidates and a lot of passion and a lot of different perspective. And it's great, you know, when townspeople get involved and roll up their sleeves and get involved in their own town. One of the faces we're not seeing that we've seen for 12 years is Uncle Ross. That may be a new thing for people in Branford to not see him, you know, any longer as the first selectman. Any thoughts on that? The changing of the guard here in the town of Branford, Connecticut. Chris?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting thing. I mean, first of all, we don't have an incumbent running. Secondly, it was a very popular incumbent that you're right, people identified with.
Yeah.
You know, a great civil servant to the citizens of the town. So it does change the election. There's not going to be, you know, Unk's coattails to ride on. So that's a different thing. And, you know, I think that Unk's done a great job, and I would like to publicly thank him for the efforts that he's done in the town. So what happens next is, you know, you hope you bring in new people that are energized and that they're going to be able to live up to the bar that he set for his role as first selectman.
For so long, right?
Well, Jim, first of all, you know, it is going to be different because, you know, you get used to saying first selectman Uncle Ross. back when Judy Gott stepped down, she was first selectman for, I believe, 12 years, and you know, you got so used to saying it. First selectman Judy Gott, first select woman Judy Gott, that when she finally stepped down, you know, it was a change. So, yeah, we're seeing that again tonight. It's a new era, Jim. You know, a new era in Branford. It's either going to be Jamie Cosgrove, first selectman, or Andy Campbell, or J.C. Wyatt. I mean, there's three this year.
Absolutely. Jeff?
Well, I just say we've had a wonderful tradition in Branford of having very dedicated, well thought of people to run our community, and Unc is no exception to that. He came from out of Stony Creek. He was one of the ordinary people who was a volunteer all of his life, and he's still done that. And it's really what makes Branford such a great town. And I'd like to also thank Unc for his service, because, you know, all of us who have witnessed it and appreciated it probably haven't expressed it as much as we should have over the years. I'll leave it.
It was 12 years that Unc has been in as well. He was in for six, and then he was. Then I guess he retired and he came back, and but I'm sure that, you know, to be first selectman of Branford, it's not just, you know, an 8 to 4 or a 9 to 5 job. It's on, you know, it's weekends. You know, the first selectman in Branford is supposed to go to activities on the weekends. You know, any sports activities. I mean, the people in Branford expect to see their first selectman there, and I'm sure it's been a lot of work for Unc. You know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Frank. I mean, it's basically a 24/7 job,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know, not only just scheduled events, but emergencies. You know, with the storms that came up.
Absolutely.
You know, think about the amount of time that Unc put in for that, and you know, other town staff as well.
Phone
so-
rings 24/7 like a doctor.
You gotta go.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, we have some updated results coming in so far from District 2. The first selectman race. Here are our numbers. Jamie Cosgrove, the Republican, 406. Andrew Campbell, Democrat, 401. And J.C. Wyatt, so far, the independent candidate, 36. That's first selectman District 2. Live results here at BCTV.
Could I say something, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely.
I copied down the results 2 years ago when Andy and Jamie were both running for selectmen.
Yeah.
And in District 2, 2 years ago, Jamie got 281 and Andy Campbell got 525. So tonight, Jamie came out on top in District 2, Stony Creek, with 406. It was very close. And then Andy came in with 401. But there was as we can see, there was a huge shift for Cosgrove down in the 2nd District tonight.
And how do you feel about that? What do you think are some of the issues that are obviously touching the buttons of Branford voters in that particular district so far?
Well, I believe that the people at the Republican headquarters, they kind of got I think in their polling, their telephoning, their hard work, they've caught on that District 2, they were able to win, and they did win that tonight. So
Well,
they
the other
were right.
thing you need to point out is that's the district that Unc DeRoss came from.
Right.
So any of the historical records probably won't stand, because now we have 2 members who don't reside in District 2 who are running. So
But
it has always historically been a Democratic stronghold.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some of the issues that have been really very important in this particular race, we've talked about economic development and, you know, obviously doing that in a way that also protects the environment, which Branford has been very, very good at doing at the same time, so there's always been that balance, but also fixing the schools and investing in education. There's 2 schools that I guess are really in need of some pretty good repair. How do you feel that particular issue is going to play a role in the results we see this evening? Chris?
I think that's also going to be an important issue, and again, there was like I said earlier, there was a dichotomy between the 2 candidates. You know, one was more of building a brand new school, and the other was more of doing renovations at this point and trying to reduce the total cost up front. You know, not have that big load of rebuilding an entire building. So, you know, the parents of their students, that's obviously an important thing. So their children are theirs, and you know, there's nothing more important to a parent than their children's well-being at a school and knowing that they're getting a strong education. So obviously that's going to be something that could get people to go to the polls.
We've got some more updated results. We're going to go to District 4, the first and second selectmen. That's the Branford Hills School District area. Jamie Cosgrove, 650 votes. Andrew Campbell, 370. And J.C. Wyatt, 40 votes. Again, that's first selectman District 4. And the second selectman District 4, we have Joseph Higgins Jr., the Republican, 621, and Bruce Storm, the Democrat, at 393. And now let's go to District 2. That's the St. Therese Church region. Jamie Cosgrove, 406. Andrew Campbell, 401. And J.C. Wyatt, 36 votes thus far. And second selectman, District 4, the Branford Hills School District, Joseph Higgins Jr., 621. Bruce Storm, 393.
So at this instant, first selectman candidate Jamie Cosgrove is up by 280 votes when you look at Districts 2 and District 4. So, you know, that's...
Any surprises so far, or is it predictable, or what do you guys think?
If you go back to, again, to 2011, when both the candidates were running for selectmen, at that time in District 2, you know, I already said 281 for Jamie, and Andy got 525.
Yeah.
But this year, Jamie topped Andy in that district by 5 votes. But I think the big upset is in the 4th district, which is Branford Hills School. All people that voted at Branford Hills School are District 4, and there we just heard from Jim that Jamie got 650 to Andy's 370. So that's a difference of 280 votes, whereas 2 years ago, it's true that Jamie did beat Andy in that district, but only by 54, thanks Chris, 54 votes. So it looks like it's going to Jamie Cosgrove at this hour anyway.
So far.
So far. And these are all unofficial votes. We'd like to add the only one that can definitely certify the election, and it's, I don't even know if it'll be tonight, but it's our town clerk, Marianne Kelly. So these are all unofficial votes that were, you know, that are coming to you tonight via BCTV.
Do we know if these votes include absentee ballots?
I suspect that they do not.
They do not. They're added. I believe they've all been in and they're all counted.
Yeah, they're not sure on that yet. Yeah. Right. So we were talking about schools. Frank, how do you feel about that?
Well,
repair or the replacement of?
I think we have to keep our schools up. I mean, other shoreline towns have beautiful facilities. I believe that we have very good education in the town of Branford. I believe that we need to do something at Walsh. I believe we need to do something at Branford Hills. Sliney also has to be upgraded. That some parents are very concerned about the playground across the street from Sliney where a lot of the children go. That needs to be upgraded as well. But we have to do it in a way that it doesn't break the bank, you know, for the Branford taxpayer. I mean, you have to look at everything. Yeah. It's got to be studied, and but we should keep them up. I mean, our kids should be going to you know, really good buildings,
updated
I believe.
Schools.
Yep.
Jeff?
Well, I think this last 2 years, the schools have come to the fore. The parents group at the Walsh Intermediate School has brought that issue back. Now, that issue has been present in this town for at least 20, 25 years. Yeah. The problem with the Walsh Intermediate School was basically it was designed as an open space, with open space classrooms, and that they seem to have gone out of favor a few years after they were built. So we have a school that's actually physically in pretty good condition that's just functionally obsolescent. The other one that came up is the Sliney School, and frankly the Sliney School I think went through its last renovation and retrofit when I had a child in the 4th grade who ended up being placed for a year in the St. Mary's School, probably in about 1980 or 1978. So these schools are now aged, and we really do need to expend some capital and make sure that the schools are as good as they can be.
Yeah, the schools should definitely be a priority.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have to keep up with the Joneses, with the Guilfords, the Madisons, right. You know, because they really have outstanding, but you know, I might add expensive facilities. So just like we took the high school project and we spent some on that, but it was cheaper than to build a whole new high school. So, you know, it should all be studied and see what's the most cost effective. I believe what Jamie wants to do is to have one group, you know, look at all these problems, plus the senior center.
We have some more updated results coming in right now live here on BCTV. Starting off with First Selectmen District 2, the St. Therese Church area. Jamie Cosgrove, 406 votes. Andrew Campbell, the Democrat, 401. And J.C. Wyatt still holding at 36. And then we have more results coming in. First Selectman District 4, the Branford Hills School District area. Jamie Cosgrove, the Republican, 650. Andrew Campbell, the Democrat, 370 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, the Independent, at 40 votes.
And what, can I say that?
And next is Indian Neck School, First Selectman District 5, some results coming in. Jamie Cosgrove, 872 votes. Andrew Campbell, 435. J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes thus far. Now all the tabulations are coming in fast and furious. First Selectman District 6, the Mary Murphy School area. Jamie Cosgrove, 617 votes. Andrew Campbell, 304. And J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes so far. Let's take a look at District 7 with BCT's live coverage. First Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School District. Jamie Cosgrove, 595 votes. Andrew Campbell, 315. J.C. Wyatt, 40 votes thus far.
Can I say something?
Second Selectman District 2, St. Therese Church area. Joseph Higgins Jr. We'll do Second Selectman District 4 for you, Branford Hills School District. Joseph Higgins, we just did that to make sure you were watching, 621. And Bruce Storm, 393.
Jim, can I say something?
We just want to make sure that, there you go. And Second Selectman, District 6, Mary Murphy School. Joseph Higgins Jr., 575 votes. And Bruce Storm, 356 votes. That's District 6. We're going to go to 7 next. They're tabulating those right now as we speak. These are all unofficial numbers, of course. First Selectman District 2, let's take a look at that. There's 7. There's 7. First Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School. Jamie Cosgrove, 595. Andrew Campbell. Let's see. Well, let's look at that one. We'll go back to the one in a second. Second Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School. Joseph Higgins, 580. Bruce Storm, 340. Somebody has some extra coffee back there. So, any surprising numbers there, guys?
Well, I would like to congratulate Jamie Cosgrove as the next First Selectman for the town of Branford. I believe that
so you're making that call? Yeah.
His lead is insurmountable. Again, these are unofficial tallies. Only the town clerk, Marion Kelly, can certify the votes. But it looks like every district that's reported, he's swept.
Yeah.
And the closest one, I believe, was that he took by 5 votes. But there are, so I estimate, I don't have my calculator with me, unfortunately, but
yeah.
I believe he's up by, at least almost 2,000 votes, which is huge, huge. Yeah. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Any surprises, Jeff, that you're seeing with any of this?
Well, I frankly think I'm surprised at the magnitude of the Cosgrove vote.
Yeah.
I assumed from the nature of the campaign, and it was a very tough campaign where the campaigners, they really worked very hard. I thought it would be closer, to be quite honest with you, than what we're seeing so far. Now, what's not in here is the third, which is smaller district, Short Beach. That usually is usually heavily Democratic. I'm not sure what the first is.
The first split almost evenly. Last time it was Campbell.
A little bit for Andy.
Right.
Campbell beat Jamie in first last time by about 56 votes. But this year,
Jamie
took it.
He's running away with it. Yeah. How about you feel, Chris? Any surprise there, or?
I'd echo some of Jeff's comments.
Like Tiger
I
race.
thought it would be a lot closer, and some of the polling that we did indicated it would be closer as well. It's also interesting that I think almost every district has a larger turnout than 2 years ago too, which is total number of voters. So that
And
might
what
be
do you
saying
attribute
something,
that to? Just people want change? The weather's obviously good too. I mean, a lot of different
The weather
factors
helped.
play
It was
in.
nice. It was a little cold, but
just society as a whole is looking for some new things to happen.
I think that when people turn out, they want change. If they don't turn out, then they're happy,
Yeah.
we know, the status quo.
Yeah.
I was told earlier tonight, standing at District 1, that the turnout was expected to be about 2% higher this
Higher.
year than 2 years ago, which isn't really that much.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the results,
Yeah.
it was, it's been overwhelming for Jamie tonight.
Yeah.
He really swept, and of course we still don't have one district, but
Yeah.
he swept all 6 districts that we know about.
And as soon as we get those numbers, we will bring them to you live. You're watching BCT live coverage of Election Night 2013. I am Jim Masters. It's great to have you with us. And we're here, of course, with Chris Sullivan, Jeff Clark, and Frank Toohill. We're providing play-by-play and color coverage live in our studios here. One of the other issues that was very pressing during this election is obviously the topic of seniors, healthcare, housing, taxes, transportation, tax relief. How big of an issue do you think that has played in this entire scenario that we're watching come down this evening? Chris?
I think it's a significant issue. I mean, and one of the things you didn't mention is a new senior center in town, which was something that I think all the candidates actually agreed upon as a major priority for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a good point because the Canoe Brook Center is an older building. It's not the easiest to access, so it's an important thing. And so those issues are important, and everybody knows that seniors, as a group, have a high percentage of voting. So
it's an aging town too, so
there's
many
demographics.
more needs that have to be met as well. Frank?
Well, Jim, I think that some of these projects got started, but then they stalled for one reason or some other. But it's true. I mean, the senior center needs to be upgraded. Something needs to be done there. The schools. I just think that people. They went tonight, and they wanted change. I think they probably liked First Selectman-elect Jamie Cosgrove's idea to have one committee formed to look at all the building projects and get the best for the Branford dollar that is possible. So I think that the building projects and all these things were significant tonight.
Jeff?
Well, as I became a new senior citizen a year or two ago and got my Medicare card, I started to pay a little more attention to this. But the senior center has been an issue in Branford. There was a swap that was not consummated a few years ago that was part of the campaign that was very controversial. There is there's a group that's formed, I gather, and just had a public meeting, a group of 50 seniors that had a meeting at the library advocating a new facility. I've read recently that there were 8,000 of us seniors in Branford, and they're probably a fairly high percentage of voters because they're people who've been around for a long time. So it's an issue. Whether or not it's that vital, I'm not certain, but certainly I think it got a lot of attention in the last month of the campaign.
Jim, I'd like to correct something I said earlier. Again, I don't have my calculator with me tonight. I'm working with the pencil and paper, but I believe that Jamie's up now by about 1,280 votes, I believe. That's what he's over Andy Campbell at this hour, and we still haven't gotten all the results in. There's one district outstanding, but the other 6 all have Jamie on top of Andy. So it looks like Jamie Cosgrove is Branford's next First Selectman.
And right now, the Branford 7 newspaper and WTNH Channel 8 in New Haven are calling Jamie Cosgrove the next First Selectman of the town of Branford, Connecticut. So, yeah, it's pretty much in line with what we're seeing right now with the numbers that are coming into the BCTV election headquarters here. It's just amazing to see this as it's developing.
There has to be absolute euphoria at the Republican headquarters right now because, they've been out of the town hall for 8 years.
Yeah.
Cheryl Morris was in for 2, and then Unk now for 6. They've been out, and ever since John Opie was in, and so there must be absolute ecstasy at at the Republican headquarters.
How much of a role do you guys feel it plays locally in this change, like you say, the Republican Party now after all these years, based on things that are going on at a national level that people might or might not be happy about currently? Do you think that also comes into play where people are deciding at the local level who they want representing them?
I think there may be some play to that, but if you look at the election last year, 2012, for the presidential election, and you compare it to the 2011, all the districts went fairly heavily for the Democratic candidates across the board a year ago. And then, you look here, and then you look 2 years ago, and all the races were much closer in every district.
Right.
So I think at the local level, it's more of a familiarity with the candidates.
With the candidates, yeah.
I think more people maybe, cross their ticket, and do different. They don't do just a party line across.
Right, exactly. We have some more results coming in right now. District 1 and District 2. We'll take a look at those as they are developing here. We have First Selectman District 1 coming up in just a second. All right, we'll get those back up in just a second. Here we go. First Selectman District 1, Community House, Jamie Cosgrove, 780. Andrew Campbell, 428 votes. J.C. Wyatt, 91 votes. And those, again, are unofficial numbers. And
This
there's
is
District
becoming
1.
very-
And there's Second Selectman District 1, Community House, Joseph E. Higgins Jr., 759 votes. And Bruce Storm, 484.
What we really want to know, Jim, is did the two next people sitting next to us get
Right.
elected back to the RTM?
RTM
So we're going to need some
Oh,
RTM
we're going to
results
keep these
pretty
guys
soon.
waiting to the very last, till 9:59. They heard you. RTM numbers will be in a little bit.
Excellent. Good.
So you can rest assured these guys are running as
We're on
well.
pins and needles.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, dual roles tonight for you, huh?
Yeah,
How does
right.
that feel? It's a little
Great. It's
different,
great.
right?
Yeah, it's different. I
It
mean,
adds to the fun.
Yeah.
It adds to the fun, absolutely. One of the other things, too, that, obviously has been a word that people have always heard in this town for years is Tabor. And now that the Public Works is off the table as far as going into that location, how much of a role did that play in this particular election process? Jeff, we'll start with you.
Tabor has played a role for the last 10 years in almost every election.
Every single-
Unfortunately,
yeah.
it's been a significant disaster for the taxpayers. I think it's played a large role. This time a little differently. It wasn't so much all the lawsuits and the money and we lost in this, but it was really more, I think, what happened with the formation of the no public works garage unit down at Tabor Drive. I think that had a significant impact on this election. I'm not sure how many people actually were, but I think there were 600 people who signed petitions against it. And, I spoke to 3 people standing outside the District 4 polls today. They were candidates, and I asked them to tell me if there was one specific issue that was most meaningful in terms of this election. Actually, I got 3 thrown back to me. They were Tabor, number 1, the schools, number 2, and the senior center, number 3. I don't know if that's exactly how the other folks saw it, but that's what I
as
heard
well.
today.
We do have some District 5 results, RTM. Let's take a look at those right now coming into the BCTV studios. We have RTM District number 5, Indian Neck School, Dennis Flanagan, 773. Ray Ingraham, that is 775. We have Donald Conklin, 689. John Leonard, 691 votes. Jane Novick, 513 votes. Mary Jo Riddle, 504. Marianne Hall, 558. And Scott Thayer, 509 votes right now. All right,
Okay,
so
How many
Okay, in the
people
fifth-
get
Yes,
elected
in the
that?
5th district, Jim, which we're looking at right now, or
Yeah.
was on the screen just momentarily ago, I talked with the town clerk, Marion Kelly, and she informed me that the way the minority guarantee works in that district, it could be 4 to 1. There's 4 from one party and 1 from the other party. So if we could see those figures again, we could actually figure out as to who got in and who lost.
Yeah, they'll bring that back up in
Just
just a moment.
Carry on that a little bit. I think way to think about it is every candidate for one party could get in, and then somebody from the other party gets in for that minority seat.
Right.
And so the numbers I have down, it looks like all the Republicans, and then Marianne Hall was the top vote getter for the Dems. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here's District 5 once again in the next school.
Okay, thank you for putting that up.
Dennis Flanagan, 773. Ray Ingram, 775. Donald Conklin, 689. John Leonard, 691. Jane Novick, 513. Mary Jo Riddle, 504. Marianne Hall, 558. And Scott Thayer, 509 votes. That's District 5, RTM.
I think what Chris said before is exactly right, and that is that the all four of the Republicans, Dennis Flanagan, Ray Ingraham, Donald Conklin, and John Leonard did get in, and
they got in.
And also Marianne.
So we're looking at RTM District number 4. This is Branford Hills School. We have Robert Imperato, 544. James Amaranti, 521 votes. We have James Stepanek, 522 votes. Cynthia Nargi, 544. Marianne Moore, 434. Adam Hansen, 503 votes. Madeline Janover, 402. And Dorothy Doknovich, 413 votes. That is RTM District number 4, Branford Hills School.
Okay, the thing I can do, Jim, is call the winners there. Again, unofficial till the town clerk certifies, but it looks like, again, all four of the Republicans got in. Robert Imperato, James Amarante, James Stepano, Cynthia Nargi, and then 2 of the Democrats got in. The top 2 are Adam Hansen and Marianne Moore.
Yeah.
So that's the RTM in the 4th district. And again, if you vote at the Branford Hills School, you're in the 4th district. And those are your RTM representatives for the next 2 years.
Any surprises by what you're seeing there with any of that?
Well, Jim, I mean, I'm not surprised. I expected a sweep.
You're
I think it might be
sweep.
I think that we as Republicans might get the full 21 and then, 21-9, which would be great because for the last 8 years, we've been in the minority. So.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
I would actually counter Frank and say that I'm surprised, but I also expected the top of the ticket to be a lot closer.
To be.
And, at the RTM level, you get even more ticket splitting, So, I think incumbents at the RTM are more likely to get votes just because, again, that familiarity piece.
Everybody's familiar with, what to expect. Jeff?
I'm reminded that when I served on the RTM in 1973, I was in the minority party that had 10 representatives, and the majority party had 20. It's not a very fun place to be.
Right.
You basically don't have much say in how the town is governed.
How it's going,
I feel sorry for those folks who have served with distinction and who may not be serving in the future. But obviously the voters are
Speaking loudly and clearly tonight, it's breaking.
Yep, they're looking for a new direction, which they're getting.
And I think it's probably happening in a lot of towns across America tonight. They might be looking for a different direction, perhaps, or change, or just some new ideas. District 6 RTM is ready. Live coverage in just a moment. We'll have those results for you as they're coming into our studios here. And here they come for you. We have RTM District number 6, Mary Murphy School. We've got Anthony Alphone. That is 562 votes. We have Mark Riccio, 543. Edward Preet, 511. Armand Junkus Jr., that is, Junior. My New York is slipping out. Junior. Junior, 300. We have Joseph Salvaggio, 321, and Chris Sullivan, 401.
Congratulations.
Chris is back. Chris is back with us.
I wish it was a better situation.
We have him right here. See, only the best on BCTV. So, any surprises there?
Yeah, well, I'm obviously happy that I got reelected. I was hoping that Armin and Joe would come with me. We've been serving for the past term. But looking at the other results, I mean, it kind of seems to be sweeping through all the districts in that manner. So.
Yeah, everybody. How do you feel, Frank?
Well, as I said before, I mean, I kind of expected a sweep, 21-9, and my dreams, my wishes are coming true. Let's go through the ones that did get seated. Jim, you want to hear that?
Yes.
The ones that got elected in the 6th district, the 3 candidates from the Republican line Anthony Alfone, Mark Riccio, and Edward Preed. And then our friend and colleague next to me, Chris Sullivan, also got on in the 6th. So congratulations.
Thank you, Frank.
Terrific. Jeff, any comments?
No, it's a little overwhelming. I'm not sure that I ever remember the Republican Party moving along this track. It looks like they're sweeping.
Sweeping in this way.
I don't think it's happened in my lifetime.
Back in the God days,
town of Branford. Yeah.
It was pretty overwhelming. I mean, at first, when she got elected the first time back in the 80s, she didn't have the RTM. She didn't have a majority. But I think towards the end of her days, she did have, I don't know if it was full 21-9, but you know, she had control over it for years.
For a number of years.
Yeah.
We left off talking about the importance of Tabor with this particular issue, Frank. And what are your thoughts on that? It's something, again, year after year, every election, Tabor has always been a major topic.
Yes, well, Jim, I believe that tonight Tabor had a big impact. I was told, standing at the 1st District earlier tonight, that that particular district turned out pretty heavily, and possibly it was the Tabor issue. I believe the people, down there, they spoke. They just, Tabor was, Public Works was going to go there. That was the proposal. Obviously, there was a lot of opposition to that. They went to public hearings. They went to selectmen meetings. Their voices have been heard tonight as they voted for Jamie Cosgrove. So, yes, that was a big issue, and it's an issue in the whole town as well. People got tired of that of Tabor. It went on and on with the lawsuits, and in fact, I believe that there's an outstanding suit still. Right, it's the insurance carrier. That hasn't been resolved yet.
We have some results that have come in just a minute. We're going to take a look at RTM District 1 for you, but some absentee ballot numbers coming in here. Cosgrove 215, Andy Campbell 155, and J.C. Wyatt 17, and that's the absentee voters coming in right now. Any surprises there? No, pretty much in line with everything else that's going on this evening here in Branford, huh?
Yep.
Tabor, as the other two gentlemen, your thoughts on that and the importance of that here in the town for this election?
I think it's definitely been an important issue in the town. I mean, for months at town meetings, it was coming up at Board of Selectmen meetings. It was brought up at RTM meetings. So it obviously mobilized the people in that district. And, I think that, like Frank said, if people were looking for a change, that was something that they seemed to rally around. And so I think that we're seeing those results.
What should go there? What would be perfect there?
Let me answer that. That's been part of the problem. We took the property 10 years ago with not a fully developed plan.
Yeah.
The town went through the process of adopting a comprehensive plan of development and conservation, and it was only during the course of the adoption of that plan that it was suggested that we have a master plan for the property. There has really, in my view, and I'm the outsider here, there's never been a community consensus, a plan that was adopted with community consensus on how the property should be used in its entirety, not just for the Public Works garage. I know Selectman Campbell actually said that's what he would do, but he said it a little later in the process. Selectman Cosgrove, I think, said we just don't want Public Works there. So now, for the next 2 years, whoever's in office really needs to get the community involved and determine what the long-term plan for that property will be. That is one of the challenges, and there will be opposition to whatever is there done, probably in some form or other. But it hasn't gone away yet. That's what I'm saying.
We have some more results coming in Districts 1 and 2 for the RTM here in Branford. Let's take a look at District 1, Community House. Latest results, George Wells III, 568 votes.
Thank you.
Vincent Baglio, 590 votes. Frank Toohill, 717. Jennifer Zambrano, 660. Claire Torelli, 590 votes. Margaret Bruno, 580 votes. Dorothy Maynard, 472. Virginia Stanlake, 472, and J. Brendan Amon, 127.
Okay, so Jim, that's
Here's
close.
District 2. Let's take a look at
Yep.
2 first.
Okay.
RTM District 2, St. Therese Church. C. James Walker III, 346 votes. Peter Kosturer, 338. David Baker, 460. And Joshua Brooks, 451 votes. That's the RTM District 2 here in Branford.
Okay.
Frank?
Okay, well, if we start with,
Yeah,
that's
right,
not a
yeah.
sweep. If we start with
One
District
light.
2, it looks like there that both the 2 Democrats
Correct.
won down there. David Baker, who has served very well as the majority leader the last, year and a half
About a year and a half, yep.
after we lost
Anthony.
Anthony Giardello, and also Josh Brooks. So those 2 are seated on the RTM, and the top vote getter in Stony Creek also gets on from the Republican Party, and the top voter there is Jim Walker. So it's Jim Walker down there, David Baker, and Josh Brooks. Now, should we go to the first? The first.
Why don't you tell us?
Who could that be?
Well, the first, let's see. Now, that's 4-2. So the top 4, and then there's 2 seats from the minority. So let's see. George Wells, 568. Vincent Baglio, 590. 717 for myself. Thank you. 660 for Jen Zambrano. Now, that compares, let's see, Claire Torelli, 590. So Claire beat George Wells.
And then so did Maggie at
And
580.
so did Maggie. And Dorothy, 472, and Virginia Stanley tied with 472. So let's see, the top 4 would be Vincent, myself, and Jennifer. So us 3 are seated. And then Claire, and let's see, that's 4.
Then Maggie would be the next.
She's the next down. So that's 5. So who's the next highest?
I think it'd be George Wells.
Yeah.
George Wells. Okay, so all 4 of the Republicans sweep in District 1, and then Claire Torelli and Maggie Bruno get back on. So the only district that the Republicans have not swept in the RTM so far is Stony Creek.
Yes, Stony Creek. Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you. This
Thank you very much.
very successful table we have here tonight.
Thank you. Well, the good luck is rubbing off.
And how many years have you been doing this, Frank, now?
Well, I was off for 2, but I got on in 1990, so, and this is 2013, so I've been on about 21.
And over those 21 years, you've seen a lot of change and a lot of pressing issues.
Yeah.
What do you see are, having this track record for all these years, are some of the issues that really need to be addressed in the town of Branford, Connecticut?
Well, Branford, Connecticut has always been growing. When I was first on the RTM, the whole northeast corner was kind of undeveloped or just beginning to develop. The sewers were put in up there, and then, the industry came, and in those days, what Branford had was a lower tax rate than surrounding towns. So the businesses, with the sewers here, they came here, they wanted the tax differential. So there was a lot of growth, and of course, all the condominiums to Branford Hills, which turned out to be pretty good, and up in the Brushy Plain area, there's some great people up there that came into those units. So there was a lot of growth, Jim, and of course, all of Branford Hill, we used to call that a hamburger hill, with all the fast food outlets. So there was a lot of growth, but that's all stopped. I mean, things are not good, with the whole economy.
It's really worse than that. Branford, as I understand it, was the fastest shrinking town of its size in the state of Connecticut between 2000 and 2010. We actually had a population decline. That really is unprecedented in this town's history. We actually have decline in school enrollments. We really haven't discussed that and what the real causes of that are, and that, I don't know, I'm not sure what all that means, but it's so unusual. It suggests that there's a problem with our community and probably our state as a whole.
As a whole. What do you feel are probably some of the top causes for why there's an exodus in that way? Just cost of living, people moving south, like you say, exiting the state in the Northeast because it is gas prices.
I haven't ever done a survey of it, but I mean,
it's a beautiful town. It's a wonderful place to live.
There are people exiting the state of Connecticut because of our tax policies, and frankly, we have perhaps not been competitive in industry for a lot of reasons. But that's nothing new.
So, how would Branford rate to the neighboring towns in terms of growth, like a Guilford, a Madison, a North Branford, East Haven?
I think we're the only one that shrank, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But we also still, I mean, in speaking positively for Branford, we still have, historically, we have much better, lower tax rates than the surrounding towns.
Right.
We have wonderful infrastructure. Maybe we need some work on our schools and senior center, but we have sewers, we have a spectacular community in terms of its geographic location.
Park systems,
the parks, the ocean. We're going to have a lot of problems. We're going to go through revaluation and that's going to be challenging. Whoever comes, the team that comes into office, Frank, is going to have its challenges in the next 2 years.
Oh, that's for sure, Jeff.
A lot of work to do.
It's true. It's a big job.
Yeah, like you say, Chris, a lot of work. What are some of the things that you see now that you've been elected that you got to tackle head on?
Well, I'll be honest. The first thing will be, working with the town from a different position.
Right.
Being in the minority on the RTM will be a different facet of operating. That'll be a change overall. But we still have to move forward with the things that the citizens want. And looking at the results, it seems like there's some things that they do want to do. And we've talked about some of the issues that came up on the campaign already. And everybody. Like I said earlier, the senior center seems to be something that's big. There's a lot of big dollar projects, so trying to figure out how to pay for some of those things is going to be an issue, especially if our town is declining and we're losing tax base there on residents. So.
Jim, I mean, just to add to a question you had before, I mean, it could be that because of Jamie Cosgrove's construction experience, he is a supervisor at Cosgrove Construction. Could be that the town, with these projects looming over our heads, picks somebody, with actual construction experience.
So it could be helpful or an advantage to see some of these projects come to fruition.
It's true. I mean, it could be right that he's at the right, the right place, the right person for the right time, right place at the right time.
One of the topics of discussion, I know, during the debate was the attorneys, use of attorneys and the current town attorneys, and if they should stay or go or be replaced. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I don't think we're going to have the current town attorney moving forward, obviously. I think they play an important role, obviously. The first selectman isn't necessarily trained on legalese and legal issues, and so you want to be able to refer to an attorney and make sure the town's making the right decisions and not getting us into trouble in legal situations. So I think it's important to choose the right person for that job, for sure.
Right?
Yes, Jim. As far as the town attorney, I haven't heard any talk, in the campaign about, who Jamie might select as his town council. I mean, that's basically up to him to choose somebody that he's comfortable with, somebody that he trusts, somebody that he believes will provide good quality legal services on behalf of the townspeople. I mean, there's a lot of cases out there right now. I believe we're almost done with our tax appeals, but as Jeff said, there's a reval coming. There'll be more tax appeals. I believe there's, Chris, is this right? There's every year there's a couple of hundred lawsuits against the town for slip and falls and all sorts of things?
Yeah, there's a fairly large number, but some of them are smaller issues. Yeah. But there's still lawsuits that we have to deal with at some level. So,
I mean, it's just one of the problems that you have to deal with as a municipality.
You have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Jeff?
I will say, if you asked any of the voters who went into the polls today in Branford, the first thing they'd say on lawyers and legal fees is, we've had enough. This town, legal fees has been a topic of discussion for years now. We spent millions of dollars defending ourselves and bringing suit both for Tabor and for other issues. In fact, one of the more interesting things of this election is the person who's not in the room, who probably hounded the RTM and every public body in this town more than anyone else, who was Wayne Cook, who was part of those lawsuits and part of the issue of lawsuits. He wasn't visible for the last 6 months. His cart didn't go around the town hall and the town green 6 times every Tuesday during my office meeting.
And if people don't know why, was there a reason why during the 6-month period he wasn't around?
I don't know, but he's the one who really brought home the fact that the lawsuits have been unending. So
yeah.
Every citizen in the town wants us to be much more efficient and to spend less money on lawsuits that may or may not be. It's just that everybody's had it.
Right.
So
it's too much.
That's I think every voter would agree with that.
Yeah.
At this point.
We have some more results. We're going to do a recap of Districts 1 and 2 and all the totals that have come in here on BCT right now, BCTV Live. First Selectman District 1 Community House, Jamie Cosgrove, 780 votes. Andrew Campbell, 428. And J.C. Wyatt, 91 votes. That's First Selectman District 1, St. Therese Church. There's District 2, First Selectman District 2, Jamie Cosgrove, 406. Andrew Campbell, 401 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, 36 votes. All right, now let's take a look at First Selectman District 3, Orchard House. Jamie Cosgrove, the Republican, 333 votes. Andrew Campbell, the Democrat, 371 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, the Independent, 47 votes. Next, First Selectman District 4, Branford Hills School area. Jamie Cosgrove, 650. Andrew Campbell, 370. And J.C. Wyatt, 40 votes. Continuing our recap here, First Selectman District 5, Indian Neck School. Jamie Cosgrove, 872. Andrew Campbell, 435. And J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes. Next, First Selectman District 6, the Mary Murphy School region. Jamie Cosgrove, 617 votes. Andrew Campbell, 304 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes. First Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School. Jamie Cosgrove, 595 votes. Andrew Campbell, 315. And J.C. Wyatt, 40 votes. Here's the totals. These include the absentees. All districts combined. Jamie Cosgrove, the Republican, 5,168 votes. Andrew J. Campbell, the Democrat, 2,779 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, Independent, 381 votes. And now we're going to do Second Selectman, District 1, Community House. Joseph E. Higgins Jr., the Republican, 759 votes. Bruce E. Storm, the Democrat, 484 votes. Next, Second Selectman District 2, St. Therese Church. Joseph Higgins Jr., 404 votes. Bruce Storm, 410 votes. Next, Second Selectman District 3, Orchard House. Joseph Higgins Jr., 341 votes. Bruce Storm, 398 votes. Here is Second Selectman District 4, Branford Hills School area. Joseph Higgins, 621 votes. Bruce Storm, 393 votes. Second Selectman District 5, Indian Neck. Joseph Higgins Jr., 850 votes. Bruce Storm, 477 votes. Second Selectman District 6, Mary Murphy School. Joseph Higgins Jr., 575. Bruce Storm, 356. Second Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School. Joseph Higgins Jr., 580 votes. Bruce Storm, 340 votes. Totals, absentees included. Second Selectman, all districts combined. Joseph E. Higgins Jr., the Republican, 4,130 votes. And Bruce E. Storm, the Democrat, 2,858 votes. here in Branford. I am Jim Masters. You're watching live team coverage of BCT Election Night 2013. Thank you for joining us, and we have more to go.
Jim, I just want to bring up a point.
Yes, Chris.
Looking at those numbers, it looks like Bruce Storm will actually be on the Board of Selectmen and not Andy Campbell, just with the total votes that we just saw on the screen there. So that's an interesting turn also, which happened 2 years ago with Jamie and Joy.
That's right.
So it's kind of the same scenario here.
Same scenario, yeah.
So because the first selectman candidates drop into the selectman pool, and
Right.
then it's the top vote getter. So, and it looks like Bruce has outvoted Andy by almost 100 votes, a little bit less than 100 votes.
100. So yeah. Any surprises there? Do you, or
Well, that's always surprising. You know, you kind of expect the top of the ticket to move forward.
to
but-
keep going, right?
Right, so
We're still waiting for the 3rd District
Yes.
RTM, are we
The 3rd
not?
district.
Correct. We are still waiting for RTM in the 3rd.
speaking of the 3rd, Jim, that was a
All right.
district where Andy Campbell did beat Jamie Cosgrove. The vote down there was 333 for First Selectman-elect Jamie Cosgrove and 371 for Mr. Campbell. So it wasn't a complete sweep. Jamie didn't win every district, but he came close in Short Beach, and he won all the other 6 districts.
We just want to let the folks know watching right now that in about 10 minutes, we're going to go to Republican headquarters and Jamie Cosgrove. So we'll get that reaction, and I'm sure it's going to be quite an event there.
They're going to be jubilant down there.
Yeah,
Like I said
absolutely.
earlier, first time in 8 years, they're back in the town hall. They have a majority of the RTM, as well as the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen will be First Selectman-elect Jamie Cosgrove, along with his great running mate, Joe Higgins. And as we just heard from Chris, the 3rd Selectman will be Bruce Storm, former superintendent of schools in Branford. He has beaten Andy Campbell for the 3rd Selectman seat by about, I estimate, around 77 votes. These totals, again, are unofficial. Only the town clerk can certify the election.
Correct.
You know what I noticed too, that it was a good race too. You didn't see the negativity to the degree that you might have in previous election cycles this particular year. I think maybe people were just tired of a lot of negativity, one against the other in the way that they have. Have you noticed that too?
I think it was a more positive campaign.
Yeah, much more positive.
I think both of the candidates for selectmen actually ran very positive campaigns
Right.
about what and tried to point out
about the
distinctions.
issues.
Yes, about the issues.
Right.
We didn't, as an unaffiliated voter, we didn't necessarily hit all the issues as hard as I wanted them hit, but they did well. Actually, it was a much neater, cleaner campaign than some of the things that have happened
Previously.
Even in the debate, it wasn't a lot of gotcha moments.
Right.
It was issues-based commentary.
It
and-
was genteel. It was very genteel at the debate, and I believe Channel 8's Chris Velarde, who lives in Branford, did an outstanding job as the moderator of the debate.
Bringing it all out, right? Yeah, it's great when it's a positive campaign like that, you know what I mean? Because then you can get to the issues and get, all the other past.
I mean, oftentimes, Jim, right? We've seen past not so much in Branford, but on the national level, it's the personalities that get attacked. I mean, that's really not the issue. You want to stay on the issues.
Because there's whether it's local, regional, or national, there are a lot of really pressing issues that have to be dealt with.
That's right.
And,
Well, in reality, that's what you're electing, somebody to deal with those issues.
You got to get in there, and, right?
Exactly.
Jim, it would be good if maybe you could ask our tabulators if they have any take on the Board of Education results in Branford. We have some new...
Nothing in yet from Board of Ed, but as soon as we get that, they'll be the first to know. 4 or 5 minutes, we'll be going to Jamie Cosgrove at Republican headquarters as well. So stay tuned. BCTV live coverage. What other issues do you think need to be dealt with in the town that we haven't talked about this evening?
Well, I would think one of the things that we need to look at is coastal resiliency.
Yeah.
There's issues. We've had a lot of major storms. We've lost roads, and roads were flooded out.
Sandy and Irene.
So we need to be planning for that and figuring out how to handle those issues to make sure that people don't get disconnected, that we can still provide the services to those citizens and businesses, and protect people's homes. I mean, somebody's house is flooded, that's a tragic loss, and we want to try to prevent that.
Right. Yeah. And the length of power outages,
Right,
the days.
right.
That
And so
have gone.
I think that's a major issue because when that happens, everything else shuts down. You can't really function. So.
Right.
I mean, it's true what Chris says. People do say, it's positive. They see that the water level in Branford is rising for whatever reason, and we should do as much as we can.
Yeah.
But it's just the one town against the sea. It's kind of tough.
It's
But
kinda
we
tough.
have to do what we can do, though,
Right.
because a lot of people were hurt by the flooding. And the other thing too is that I think we have to open. I think Jamie's going to open a new conversation, if you will, or a new process to build some of these projects, to get these off the ground, get people in the community to agree, and get started on what we've got to do in town. Senior center, the schools, and also public works. Where's that going to go?
Absolutely, Jeff.
The rising tides and flooding are becoming a very loud issue right now. If you know any homeowner whose home sits in the floodplain and is trying to acquire flood insurance, the flood insurance in the local real estate offices is a topic of conversation every single day, because it is terrifying homeowners and it's terrifying condominium owners are along the water, and it's having just a tremendously negative impact on people's ability to do things. It's going to force people out, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what we can do at the local level. I think our town engineer actually has really been fabulously good at communicating with people who are concerned about it. We're seeing how homes that are being raised all over town now, the first time in my life recollection. And if we get lucky, we can maybe go another 20 years before we have a big
Before the
storm.
next
But
big,
it's not going to go away.
Yeah. The storms are getting bigger.
Jim,
and
I'm
bigger.
thinking ahead now. I believe that in 2 weeks, the first selectman, Jamie Cosgrove, the new first selectman, will be sworn in. And I believe that the RTM will be sworn in
November
shortly.
19th.
November 19th is the
19th.
organizational meeting. So if you're on the RTM or if you were just elected, congratulations, and we'll see you at the firehouse on, as Chris said, November the 19th. So these are great days for Jamie, and for all the Republicans back in the town hall, first time in 8 years tonight.
Right now, we're going to go to District 7, the RTM, and take a look at those results right now. At the RTM District 7, Walsh Intermediate School, Robin Bruce Sandler, the Republican, 602 votes. Richard Greenidge Jr., the Republican, 623. And Paula Gladys, Democrat, 375 votes.
Okay, so that's
Breakdown.
2-1. Everybody gets on down there because there was only one candidate on the Democrat side.
Correct.
So she gets on, Paula Gladys, along with the incumbents, Robin Bruce Sandler and Richard Greenidge.
No surprise there either.
It was
No, it was
Just had to go that
guarantee.
way.
It was a
Yeah.
guarantee that everybody in that district was going to get on
Was gonna
because
go.
there was only three
Yeah.
three would
They
get
all
on.
had to get in.
That's it. That's it. So, why do you guys love living in this fine town?
Well, I like all the outdoor. I mean, we have the islands that you can see. You can go out to, and but then we have the uplands. We have the hills that you can hike.
Yeah.
We have all the great lands that the town has acquired. The land trust has acquired. Great hiking areas, and of course, there's the whole area around Lake Saltonstall. It's now open to the public by the Regional Water Authority. In the old days, it was all chained off. You couldn't go in, but you can get a permit now.
One of the most active and beautiful town greens, too. I mean, the envy of a lot of other towns within the Constitution state. I've lived in New York, lived in Connecticut, and it's one of the most beautiful and just boastful, active town greens.
Well,
Every
that's
weekend, there's somebody doing something.
And
It's
you've got
great.
you got all the restaurants.
Yeah, it's
all
fantastic.
kinds of foods, from Japanese to everything's opening. It seems like every few weeks there's a new type of restaurant, And also the two ice cream parlors, which is big.
Yeah.
The kids.
You'll see it, Frank, at all the restaurants.
Kids and the adults, or those ice cream parlors they're lined up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In the summertime, I've been there. I get a cone or two. We all do, right?
Yeah, right.
Sunday. Yeah. Great Branford. District 3, RTM. Let's take a look at those numbers right now. RTM District 3, Orchard House. Sean Kelly, the Republican, 293 votes. Peter Black, the Republican, 342. Douglas Henlon, the Democrat, 430. And Ali M. Albugma, Democrat. Alabu, what is that?
Abalugma.
You say that well. 382 votes.
He's the former president of BCTV, so let's get Ali's name right.
You say it, Jeff.
Okay, Ali Abalugma.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so if I could
We're going to go right now to Republican headquarters and Jamie Cosgrove.
All right, tonight is a great win for Branford. Yeah, who could have predicted this this incredible size of a win? I'd like to thank some of the people that have helped us, helped me along the way. My vice chair, Mark Riccio, where is he? Guys, so much help, so many extra RTM members that have come on board. Thank you all for going out and doing all of your work, door to door, thousands of doors, driving up our vote. So as Republicans, we say thank you to Branford. We're ready to serve. We're ready to govern. The election tonight is, again, an energized party. We're very grateful for the voters to come out. We're fortunate to have some other great help. We have Pat Andriol as our honorary chair. And we have former state senator Bill Anaskovich. Sorry, dude. Sorry, pal. Bill helped us organize this campaign, brought us down right to the detail to bring home what we all wanted. Is a win tonight. So without any more lines, and everyone knows how short I speak, so we'll move. Bill and Pat, will you come up and introduce the new team of leaders for the town of Branford?
I am so excited, and Branford did the right thing today. They voted for the right leader whom they can trust. Congratulations.
I am uncharacteristically speechless. A couple months ago, Jamie Cosgrove came to my living room and sat with Jen and I and said, "Will you help me?" And I said, "Help you what?" And he said, "Help me do what's best for Branford." He didn't say he wanted to beat someone else. He didn't say he wanted to run a negative campaign. He didn't say that he needed to define himself by telling people what he wasn't. He told me that he loved Branford, that it was the most special place in the world to him, and that he wanted Ava and Lila to grow up in a town like he grew up in. And as a third generation, the Polacks and the Italians haven't been here as long as the Irish people. But as a third generation Branford person, he couldn't have sung a better song to me. He reached out across party lines. He brought Republicans and unaffiliateds and Democrats together. He ran a coordinated campaign so that Team Cosgrove became a brand that popped up on every corner, every house, every place that sometimes you're not supposed to have signs. But that was evidence of the kind of energy and the kind of enthusiasm and the kind of commitment that people made to Jamie. We were honored to have Pat be our chairman. She is everything that's good about Branford. When he left, I wished one thing that day in the summer, and now I get to do it. It is my great honor to introduce to you the next First Selectman of the town of Branford, Jamie Cosgrove.
Thanks, thank you, thank you. You don't want him here tonight. Tonight, the people of Branford took their town back. We offered to listen, learn, and lead, and they said yes, loud and clear. I want to start by thanking my family. My parents are here, my aunt, my sister, Eileen. Of course, my biggest supporters, my wife, Nicole, my daughters, Lila and Ava. I'm getting to you. I want to thank Team Cosgrove. Team Cosgrove isn't just me and the candidates, it's everyone. Everyone. We ran together with a simple message. Branford belongs to the people, not to the politicians. And the people deserve straight talk, not political spin. I am proud that we ran that kind of race. We promised to stay focused on the issues, and we did. We promised to listen with respect to every person, and we did. We promised to prove that we were ready to lead, and we did. Tonight, I ask that we put aside our political differences. The last couple months have been about what separates us. But the polls are closed now. We aren't Republicans and Democrats and independents anymore. We are just all citizens of Branford. So tomorrow, the real work begins. I will be reaching out to everyone who cares about making Branford a better place. I will work with anyone who has a good idea. I will do what's best for Branford. I want to close with one last thank you to all the residents of Branford. You have given me your trust, and I am grateful for that. Thanks for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you. Thanks.
Jamie Cosgrove's victory speech, a new vision for the town of Branford, Connecticut. In just a moment, we're going to go to Republican headquarters and Sally Bonner, and she's going to have an exclusive interview with Jamie Cosgrove right here live on BCTV's Election Night coverage. I am Jim Masters. Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the live team coverage we have had. And you know what's really interesting? Talk about the Cosgrove family being so prominent in the town of Branford. The grandfather, Dan Cosgrove, in his 90s, must be an extremely proud moment for the Cosgrove family and for Dan Cosgrove. You have a little bit of a historical perspective on the Cosgrove family and Dan Forrest. Frank.
Yeah, Jim, I do. It's true what you say. For I don't know how many years, 40 years, maybe 50, First Selectman-elect Jamie Cosgrove's grandfather, Dan Cosgrove, still alive, 96 years old, in good health. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago at the house, and he, I'm sure, is extremely proud of his grandson tonight. In fact, Dan Cosgrove himself was on the Board of Selectmen in Branford on the Taxpayers Party, which was a party that Dan himself created. So that they have a proud history of politics in Branford. And as far as Dan goes, he constructed things all over the country. He built things in Cuba, I believe. I mean, he was all over the world, and he was a big power in this state as far as politics goes for many years. So now power to some extent returns to the Cosgrove family. Jamie Cosgrove, First Selectman-elect. And we also have to thank Dan's daughter, Susan Barnes. She also worked on the campaign. Can I also say something else? I'd like to thank the people that worked on Jamie's campaign, Billy Anaskovich, Chris Timiak, all the volunteers that worked tirelessly for, it seems like, months now.
That's right. Absolutely.
To put Jamie and the whole ticket in power. And thank you very much. We'll do a good job for you, Branford.
And of course, Danny Cosgrove's other grandson is an actor in Hollywood. You may have seen him on the soap operas, and of course, Beverly Hills 90210, and really something. So a very successful family, one of many here in the town of Branford. Speaking of Jamie Cosgrove, Sally Bonner has a live interview with him right now. Let's go to Republican headquarters.
This is Sally Bonner reporting for the Branford, for BCTV from Republican headquarters, where Jamie Cosgrove made a clean sweep of all districts. We're going to give an up-close and personal interview with him tonight. I think what is foremost on my mind as a longtime Branford resident is like, what is your grandfather thinking right now?
My grandfather, I'm sure, is very proud of me. I haven't even talked to him yet, but he was proud when I said I was going to run. You know, he said, just go out there and do it. So,
what's your first priority now that you've been elected?
Is to start establishing the trust in the government again. That's the biggest thing, which I think we will do. And then there's a number of we have a number of issues that need to be tackled about the process that we've been going about with the building projects. We have to start to focus on providing some tax relief to the citizens of Branford, and I feel the best way to do that is through promoting development in town and making sure we retain the businesses that we have in Branford.
What surprised you most about this campaign?
You know, there was no surprises. We were focused from the very beginning. I met with Bill Anaskovich, who's I have a debt of gratitude to. He's helped me out tremendously and made sure we got the message out. We wanted to run a clean campaign, and we did that. And we didn't lower the bar at all. And I'm proud of the campaign that Bill put together with the whole team, and so there's no surprises. We were focused from the beginning, and we stayed focused, and it showed that it was successful.
That's great. What are your economic plans for Branford besides Costco?
Well, like I just said, we got to start working with the businesses that we have in town, see what they need, and retain those businesses. We need to make sure that we change the reputation. Branford has started to have a reputation of not being business friendly, and that's something I'm going to work on and continue to draw in new businesses in town. It's beyond just one store. It's bringing development that wants to come into town and make sure it's sited appropriately and retaining the businesses we have.
Well, thank you very much and congratulations.
the victory speech of the new first selectman for Branford, Connecticut, the Republican candidate, Jamie Cosgrove. In just a moment, we're going to have the concession speech by J.C. White, the independent candidate, and also the Democratic candidate, Andrew Campbell, as well. So stay tuned. I am Jim Masters, and thank you for joining us. We are live here at the BCTV television studios in Branford, Connecticut, joined by Chris Sullivan, Jeff Clark, and Frank Tuhill, who have been doing a superlative job, a wonderful job as the color guys this evening.
You are too.
Why, thank you. It's a team effort, and everybody here at BCTV. It's a wonderful studio and a great place to do a show too, as well. So wonderful speech there. Very proud moment for the Cosgrove family as well. But you can see in Jamie's expression and the words that he just chose, he's very humble but very excited to, take the helm and move forward. Right, Chris?
Yeah, it seems like he's ready to move the town forward. And as a Democrat and on the RTM, we're going to move forward with him because I think everybody that ran today has the best interest of Branford in mind for why they ran. So
exactly,
we all have to just keep going forward and see what happens.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, he must be absolutely thrilled. This is a dream of his, I'm sure, that's come true. I believe he's 42, so he's with plenty of energy, youthful enthusiasm. As Chris said, I think he's going to be the one, absolutely, to get the town moving. If the town has been stuck, maybe. It's nobody's fault, but we have to move forward on some of these projects. It was his idea maybe 6 months ago to come up with a permanent building committee which could take a look at these problems, these issues, the middle school, Branford Hills School, Slaney School, the senior center, as well as Public Works, and to try, he wants to do things in a new way. He wants to get agreements from different people, take input from all the parties, the independents, and the plan is to come up with the best thing for Branford on all these projects. So it's going to be an exciting 2 years with Jamie in the town hall.
Jeff?
He's got a big agenda. Yeah. There's a lot to be done. He's going to have his whole team in office. I'm not sure how that works with the Board of Ed because I suspect that they will still be the other party. So he's got some challenges, and we all hope he's up to the task and can really do it for the citizens of Branford. Absolutely. And I would like to just say, in retrospect, he ran against Andy Campbell, and Andy is not only a friend of mine, but is probably one of the most thoughtful, well-spoken people you will meet. And I really think Andy and his family should be congratulated for the manner in which they ran a really excellent campaign. It wasn't Andy's time, but Jamie's going to have a go at it, I guess. So
absolutely, absolutely.
Andy's a great guy. I spent quite a bit of time with him in court. We have cases together at Children's Court in New Haven. He's a great lawyer. He always advocates for his clients, his children. He does very well. I spent 2 hours with him this morning at the First District. It was great to speak with him. He's got a great family. They were there today, too, at the polls at the First. And it's true. He's a great individual, a great quality guy. He speaks very well. You can ask him about anything. And he's a great person.
Absolutely. And J.C. Wyatt running as well.
She had such great ideas. I mean, she has ideas about everything. She wants a golf course at Tabor. You know what I find the most interesting thing that she said while she was campaigning? She wants to develop downtown like a Sturbridge Village type, and she has the plans and she has the energy. She contributed greatly to this campaign. She brought in new blood, new enthusiasm, new ideas. And it was great to see her as a female. I mean, who knows what
enthusiastic candidate with ideas as well.
Who knows what tomorrow could bring.
Right.
She said she's going to run again, I think.
Might not be the last time.
I don't think she's going
One
away.
of the things that's interesting is that we learned from JC is that it's not very hard to get on the ballot in Branford. In fact, you can get on the ballot in every race if you work at it. Maybe not for too.
Yeah.
There was a problem with the ballots this year.
Yeah.
We could talk about. We misprinted the ballots, I guess, and it cost the town a lot of money to have them reprinted because we had JC running for First Selectmen and for Selectmen.
Right.
That hopefully that's been resolved.
Been resolved as well.
But you know, I don't know how many signatures it took on the petition to get on the ballot, but you might find you have 10 candidates next time when they realize how easy it is to get on the ballot. So.
Well, we're going to go to the concession speech with J.C. Wyatt at Independent Voter Headquarters right now.
Hi everybody, I'm J.C. Wyatt here at Independent Headquarters. Thank you for every single person that voted for me tonight. I think we just made a step into the next 2 years of my election. We will obviously be running again. I first of all want to congratulate, from what we know right now, Jamie and Joe Higgins are in our office, and it does look like Bruce Storm. So congratulations, Jamie. You deserve it. I can't wait to look forward to working you down the road here. Obviously, you'll be hearing from me to be on the Standing Building Committee and many other commissions here in town. And again, I do want to thank every single person that voted for us. This absolutely helped us get farther on the ballot in 2 more years. And again, the next thing we want to do is keep it strong. And I want to just say thank you for everybody, to my family and everybody that helped me along the way. We're having a great time. Glad to be part of this. Those numbers, again, are numbers. But again, I think we just helped offset by helping part of the system come out and do what it needed to do. So thank you again for everybody who voted. We'll come and get you again next time in 2 years. And again, I had a wonderful time getting to meet everybody. You'll be seeing me soon. Thank you, guys.
And that was the concession speech by independent candidate J.C. Wyatt, very humble and looking to the future. Right, Chris?
Yeah, it seems like she's still going to be involved in the town. You know, and leading up to this point, she was always at a lot of meetings, so she's plugged into what's happening in the town. And you know, I think she definitely had some good ideas and a lot of passion and energy. So it's great to have more people plugged into the town and helping us make decisions on what the town needs to do.
That's right. Matter of fact, we have J.C. Wyatt with reporter Jade Yee right now at Independent Headquarters. Let's go to that interview right now.
Hi, I'm Jade Yee with J.C. Wyatt at Independent Headquarters. JC, how do you feel about the elections tonight?
It's a little different than we thought we were going to see tonight, but actually very proud of what we did. Obviously, this is my first run out here, and being an independent candidate, we didn't know what we were going to expect. And from what we were expecting, looking at these numbers right now, I think I did what I needed to do. So we look like we just made an upset inside the actual selectman seat. So if it's not me, you'll still be hearing me down the road. We'll definitely be back in 2 years. You could count on that. And in the next 2 years, I can't wait to be working with the groups that are in now.
How do you feel about the 1% that you seem to have gotten so far?
Right. It looks like we got to go to these final numbers. Obviously, we'll find out. But it looks like we might have just became an officially independent Branford voters.
That's great.
Yes.
So how do you feel about the numbers right now with Jamie ahead of everybody?
I think the numbers were, I guess, more not what I was expecting. You know what I mean? Like I said, from not me, but just seeing on that group, you never know what people are going to do when they walk in the booth. So, I mean, right now it looks like they went in and voted for who they wanted, and I absolutely appreciate that. And, you know, Jamie deserves it, absolutely. But this is his time.
So we were surprised about the numbers?
I don't think I'm surprised. I really didn't know what any of us were going to get. You know, I know people are really counting on making sure a third-party system comes to Branford. We started something, you know what I mean? So I think these numbers for him, they needed to get these solid numbers for them to switch over from Democrat to Republican. And I think they physically came out and they voted for Jamie Cosgrove and Joe Higgins.
All right. We'll see you again in 2 years, JC.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, everybody, and thanks for everything you've done for me this year. Thank you very much.
Good luck with your Board of Ed running.
Yes. Don't know what's going on yet.
I'm Jade Yee with BCTV from Independent Headquarters.
Thank you very much, Jade Yee with J.C. Wyatt. You know, we're going to see a lot more of J.C. Wyatt in the town because Jamie Cosgrove had put her up for the Parks and Open Spaces Commission, and the selectmen obviously voted for her, and she's going to be seen here, there, and everywhere, right?
Exactly, that's right. And I think this is the type of work you're going to see from the Cosgrove administration. Jamie's bipartisan. He wants the best people in the positions. He doesn't, pick based on party. So that'll be good to see.
As well. So we're going to also take a look right now at the Board of Education totals and results for you here at BCTV. There's the Board of Education with all districts combined. Alexander Superior, 3,133, the Republican. Michael Kraus, the Republican, 3,924. John R. O'Connor, the Democrat, 3,567 votes. Kate Marsland, the Democrat, 3,217 votes. And J.C. White, the Independent, 690 votes.
Okay, so Jim, on that...
And we have Marcia Chambers, who's with Andrew Campbell and his running mate, Bruce Storm. Marcia. In just a moment, we will have that. Ready? Here we go. Marcia.
We are standing at Democratic headquarters. Andy Campbell has lost the race for First Selectman. Bruce Storm, it appears, has won a seat for Selectman. And I want to just ask Andy and Bruce to respond.
I'm disappointed with the outcome tonight, obviously, because we failed to connect our message to the people in Branford. But the voters have spoken, and I'm optimistic about the future of Branford, as usual.
I'm totally surprised. The results don't reflect the kind of work he put into the campaign and the message that the party put forward. I'm very surprised. I wish I could say I'm really happy about getting in the selectman's seat, but I'm really not. It's the booby prize as far as I'm concerned. I wanted to work with this man and do the right things for this town. And now I'm going to have to be a third person, and I'm going to probably be just as frustrated as I am right this second. But I will pitch in too and do my best on behalf of the town that I love, and hope it doesn't suffer for this decision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any thoughts on the comments we just heard from Bruce Storm and Andrew Campbell first before we look at the Board of Ed? Frank?
Well, Bruce was the superintendent of schools in Branford for 12 to 15 years, I believe. It's true what he said. He lives in Branford. I'm sure he loves Branford.
Yeah.
He stated, I believe, that he thought the townspeople that there was a mistake made maybe by the townspeople. They should have voted for Andy instead of Jamie. And he said that he feels. I got the impression that he was a little bit grumpy in that interview, that the way it turned out tonight. But
Jeff?
The people spoke.
Serving as the third selectman after you, by virtue of losing the election and getting the seat, and that's not always a fun situation. And we've had third selectmen in this town over the years, sometimes who ended up in very adversarial positions with the first and second selectmen. Hopefully they can work together and make the town work. But it's not always a great position to be in.
Yeah. The word is frustrating, yeah.
Right.
Chris, any quick comment?
Yeah, I think that's correct. It's not really necessarily winning anything.
Yeah.
And it is tough. And this was also Bruce's first real foray into an elected position. So,
Right.
it's a lot of things have been new to him on the campaign trail. So his reaction can be expected, because I don't think he expected that to be the way it played out today.
One face that we've talked about earlier during our live broadcast is a man we've seen about town as the first selectman for some 12 years. That is Unc DeRoss, and we have a special interview with Unc DeRoss right now.
We are here with First Selectman Unc DeRoss, who leaves office in 2 weeks.
13 days.
13 days.
Yep.
Tell us, Unc, what your thoughts are tonight after watching the numbers come in.
Well, I was quite surprised by the margin on the numbers. I know this would be a close race. I know they spent an awful lot of money on getting their message out, whatever that was. But I think that the people of Branford have spoken, and All I can tell you is that the town of Branford is in excellent condition. So whoever takes over the reins is going to have it fairly easy to get started. So I think we're in a good position to move forward, and I hope that they do move the town of Branford forward.
Any particular areas?
In all areas. I mean, we got a lot of work to do out there. This is not something that you can go in and slash and burn. You got to nurture it. You got to listen to the people, and you've got to get it done. And yeah, there's a lot of campaign rhetoric that you go through all that. Well, now it's time to stop being the clown, and now you got to be the ringmaster. So, and now it's a different story. And I'm wishing Jamie all the luck in the world. I really am. I think Campbell ran a very good campaign. It was a good, clean campaign. But like I say, the people have spoken, and I wish Jamie all the luck there is to get it.
Thank you very much.
Our reporter Marcia Chambers with former First Selectman. It's interesting to say that right after all these years here in Branford, Connecticut, Unc DeRoss, with some positive comments, looking forward and wishing Jamie Cosgrove and everybody well. I know, Frank, you guys want to recap the Board of Ed results.
That's correct, Jim. We do have the results for the Board of Ed tonight, and here's who was seated tonight in the election by the Branford townspeople. We have on the Republican side Michael Kraus. He's an incumbent. I believe he's been on for some 12 years.
Quite a while.
And we also have now two newcomers tonight from the Democrat ticket. John O'Connor, who was a former
swim coach
in the Branford Public Schools, as well as Kate Marsland. And so those three are seated now on the Branford Board of Education.
Any thoughts on Unc's speech?
Well, I think Unc, from what he's a good man. I've talked to him quite a bit over the years. I've been into his office. He's very gracious to me. I'm sure, 12 years, 6 and 6 with a break in between, that's a long, long time to give to your town like he did. And I'm sure he's looking forward to doing other things. I think he bought an old train station in the creek, Stony Creek, and he's going to work on the renovation of that.
As well.
I saw that in a story from Branford Eagle, I believe.
More results coming in live to the BCTV election headquarters right now. Let's take a look at the results for town clerk. Lisa Arpin, Republican, 3,911. That's with all districts combined. And Pamela M. Knapp, the Democrat, 3,091.
So we have Lisa Arpin taking over the town clerk. It's a Republican. The first time that the first time that there is first time the town clerk is from the Republican Party in many, many years. I would say 10 or 12 years.
Ron Jones.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, Ron Jones under Judy Gott was the last,
I think so.
the last Republican.
So this evening, there's been a lot of firsts, a lot of amazing developments that have been happening.
Exactly.
Would you say, Chris?
I think so, yeah. I mean, like Frank said, it's the first time that's been a Republican in that seat for a while. Even when John Opie was First Selectman, was a Democrat at clerk, right?
I believe it was still Tootsie Lasky. She was there for many, many years.
As well. Jeff, are you surprised?
Well, just in terms of the town clerk's race, I mean, what hasn't been said tonight is the current town clerk wasn't asked to run apparently by her party, and that's, I don't know if that has any role in it, but that's something that doesn't happen every day in Branford politics.
That's true.
Yeah. So that is a first for that, huh?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of firsts this evening.
Yes.
Yeah. Voters have spoken, as Unc DeRoss said. Voters have spoken,
Yeah.
and we can see from the results right now. Amazing.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's time to take the town now and move forward. Really,
Yes.
Move forward with everything. We certainly hope you're enjoying the live team coverage. Marcia Chambers, Jade Yee, Sally Bonner, they've been doing a wonderful job getting all the interviews, and any more updates, we'll bring them to you here. So we've got a lot of work to do in this town, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things, right? The RTM has to confront, like a long agenda every month.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen have their business, and we can't forget the Board of Finance. They do a great job they've been keeping the town, in great financial shape. We have a great finance director, Jim Finch, and we have, of course, that great AAA bond rating, which makes the interest cost that we all pay for projects, very, very low.
Yeah.
So
and
we have a lot.
I think that'll be critical with some of the projects coming up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We're going to do a recap for you of all the numbers that we have tabulated this evening here at BCTV. And we will start right now with First Selectman District 1, Community House. Jamie Cosgrove is your new First Selectman in Branford, Connecticut, the Republican, with 780 votes. Andrew J. Campbell, Democrat, 428, and J.C. Wyatt, the Independent, 91 votes. First Selectman District 2, Jamie Cosgrove, 406, Andrew Campbell, 401, J.C. Wyatt, 36 votes. First Selectman District 3, Orchard House, Jamie Cosgrove, 333, Andrew Campbell, 371, and J.C. Wyatt, 47. First Selectman District 4, the Branford Hills School area, Jamie Cosgrove, 650, Andrew Campbell, 370, J.C. Wyatt, 40. First Selectman District 5, Indian Neck School, Jamie Cosgrove, 872, Andrew Campbell, 435, J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes. District 6, Jamie Cosgrove, 617 votes, Andrew Campbell, 304, and J.C. Wyatt, 55 votes. First Selectman District 7, Walsh Intermediate School, Jamie Cosgrove, 595 votes, Andrew Campbell, 315, and J.C. Wyatt, 40 votes. Here's the First Selectman totals with all districts combined. Jamie Cosgrove, the Republican, 5,168 votes. Andrew J. Campbell, the Democrat, 2,779 votes. And J.C. Wyatt, the Independent, 381 votes. Here's the Second Selectman race, District 1. Higgins, 759 votes, and Bruce Storm, 484 votes. District 2. Higgins, 404 votes, and Storm, 410 votes. District 3, Higgins, 341 votes, and Storm, 398 votes. District 4, Higgins, 621 votes, and Bruce Storm, 393 votes. District 5, Indian Neck, Higgins, 850 votes, and Bruce Storm, 477 votes. District 6, Higgins, 575 votes, and Storm, 356 votes. Second Selectman District 7, Higgins, 580 votes, and Storm, 340 votes. And the Second Selectman totals, all districts combined, Higgins, 4,130 votes, and Bruce Storm, 2,858 votes. And Town Clerk, all districts combined, Lisa Arpin, 3,911 votes, and Pamela Knapp, 3,091 votes. And there are your totals here in Branford this evening. So that's the latest from everything.
Yes, Jim, the RTM, it looks like it's a 19-11 split this coming term for the next 2 years. That means that there will be on the RTM, 11 Democrats and 19 from the Republicans. And as you said earlier tonight on the Board of Education, we have seated 2 people on the board that are new, Kate Marsland and John O'Connor, both Democrats, and the voters returned the incumbent who's from the Republican side, Michael Kraus. So all these people, congratulations. And
congratulations to all the winners. And your new First Selectman in Branford, Connecticut, 2013 is Jamie Cosgrove. We want to thank our reporters, Marcia Chambers and Jade Yee, as well as Sally Bonner, as well as our election night team here, Chris Sullivan and Frank Tuhill and Jeff Clark, and the entire team here at BCTV who have worked tirelessly throughout the entire months, weeks, and this evening to bring this entire team coverage to you live. For all of us here, I'm Jim Masters. Thank you for joining us for Election Night Live 2013 from BCTV. Good evening.
Thank you.